The Special Olympics has a lot of events. We should also probably go to their polar plunge, like get that polar plunge popping up. When y'all gonna jump?
What is the polar plunge?
It's like when you jump in like cold water. Usually they do it in like Delaware where you like run into the river during the winter because it's cold outside. But like,
I'm not jumping in cold water.
Somebody gotta do it.
No, not me.
Damn.
I'm not doing it.
That was good, but
I'm sorry, man. I just lost.
You did. You gotta jump in. You gotta jump in.
Doing it. I'm not.
You just lost those guns. You gotta be quick.
Okay.
You gotta be quick.
If he does it, you gotta jump out of plane.
I'm not doing it. Like I said, I'm not doing it. So.
What do you want to know? What do you want to know, man?
How'd it feel?
It's frozen.
Hey, I'm Troy. This is Darius, and that's Danny. We were college roommates and played football at Georgetown. During college, yeah, we threw a lot of parties, but at the same time, we were out in the community doing good. Our senior year, we met a guy named Frank Luntz. You might know him, you might not, but he's a very big political strategist. We started working with him, and he challenged us to take our experiences growing up in DC and go out into our community and make a difference. At the time, we would have never have guessed we would have grew good and raised millions of dollars, make a huge impact where we live and work. Darius, he's the one who's not afraid to speak his mind. He knows everyone. Me, I'm super empathetic, I'm in touch with the community, and I know how to get things done. Danny, he's the go-getter. When we talked about the idea of starting good in college, he came home the next day to our dorm and said, "Hey guys, I filed the paperwork." Along the journey, we linked up with the good people at Chasing the Dream, and he challenged us to go out and explore the authenticity of the American dream. And this is what we found.
Hanging out with Danny and Troy, I always am asking myself, how did I get in this position? But it's moments like this that remind me just what causes us to be successful. It's the fact that we just continue to push the limit in everything that we're doing. And that is definitely evident in the work that we're doing in communities. And it didn't just start when we started good. It was even back when we were in college. A lot of that came from a guy that you'll get to know over the course of a few seasons, a man by the name of Father Ray Kemp. And over the years, we took his classes. He made a point to bring in different lecturers over the course of the years that were focused on everything from how we can be better citizens in the community to how God plays a role in our lives. And I remember one week specifically, he brought in a guy by the name of Tim Shriver. I didn't know who he was at the time. I just found it hilarious. I was poking fun at him because he didn't know exactly who Kanye West was. But come to find out, over the course of the years, I realized just how impactful this man was to the world. Whether he was being the chairman of the Special Olympics or taking on other projects throughout the country, he led with his heart in an effort to try to make the world a better place. And today's no different. You see that guy up there jumping in after me? That's Tim. What type of shoes are you filling? Your mother started the Special Olympics and your father started the Peace Corps.
Yeah, but he also is executive producer on show, a co-producer on Disney movies. How do you go?
Tim Shriver?
Yeah.
Which movies?
Amistad, The Ringer, served as a co-producer for shows.
The Ringer?
ABC, NBC, TNT.
Who, Tim Shriver?
Yes.
Have you seen The Ringer?
Mm-mm.
I didn't know that was a Disney movie.
He was the executive producer for The Ringer.
The Ringer was very interesting. That makes sense. It was a movie about a guy competing in the Special Olympics.
Oh, The Ringer.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
He executive produced it. What do we want out of this interview?
What was it like producing The Ringer?
I think he's a very well-versed person, so I think getting his take on even the issues that we're fighting against is going to be cool, too, because I think he definitely has a broad perspective on that, too.
And education. I mean, if he was an educator, if he is executive producer of movies geared towards education, he probably knows a lot on social emotional learning. He'll probably talk to us about that some too. Mm-hmm. So that'd be definitely a big topic conversation.
I'm a teacher by training. My background is working in urban education. And then, I go from there to kids with intellectual disabilities, kids with 50 IQs, and you can't sell them the BS, right? You can't say you're going to get a job in a house, in a 2-car garage, in a retirement plan, and you look them in the eye like, okay, wait a minute, what am I actually selling here? Am I selling that, or am I selling something different? Am I selling hope? What do you think gave you guys the sense that it was worthwhile to try to make it, if I can say in a traditional sense? Because I think a lot of kids are getting to the point where they're 12, 13 years old, and they're like, you can't convince me that road is real, and so I'm not going. I'm veering off. And I guess I'm just still curious as to how you would imagine, if you could go back into your mind's eye and think you had the choice, what led you, or maybe you didn't, like I said, you didn't even realize you had the choice, but somehow you decided to choose the paths you chose. Why not the alternative?
I think that's what's really unfortunate about college in that route, because what you do as like a preteen and an adolescent has so much weight and value to the rest of your life, and you don't really realize that until maybe you're 16, 17, 18, but for late bloomers more like 17, 18, 19.
Or like 25, 26.
Yeah. 25, 56. When it's just completely too late.
I think I hit a certain point right around 8 years old, where that was right after my father had died. Right. And I really saw my mother struggle for the first time. I saw what that looked like. I had a perfect example of love in my family. Mm-hmm. What we didn't have in material things was never a lack of love in the household. So even as I grew up, I always had a mother that pushed me to say, you can be anything you put your mind to, and don't let anybody ever tell you you can't be. Right. If you work hard at it, you can do it. And this education that I'm clawing tooth and nail to give you is going to be the foundation for your success going forward. And I bought into that at a very young age, where a lot of kids aren't going to have that in their household. You see it firsthand how important the relationship with a parent and their child is. Yeah. And especially in the communities that we work in, how the parents a lot of times aren't necessarily wanting to push their kids to be any better than them.
But I think that in part, I agree with you, but I think that in part is, in a way, we have an old-fashioned school system, in the sense that parents send their kids to the school, and then they expect the school to take it from there. Yeah. Where what we really need is an education system that takes families and helps everybody develop. In the end of the day, what I would say the American dream really needs to be about in this day and age is about everybody's growing. Being able to make a living is a critical feature, and the American dream will always include that if I come to the United States, if I open my door in the United States, I have a shot.
I want to kind of end on this. So I'm speaking to this young lady. So she is the daughter of ranchers in Texas. She was very sharp, very clever young lady, and she very specifically said, the American dream for me is to be able to live on several acres of land as a stay-at-home mom with 4 kids and a rancher husband.
And what I hear her saying is, I don't know how many acres she lives on now or she grew up on, but it sounds like it's more. Yeah. She scaled it back. But what she's describing is not, I want a bigger farm than my daddy ever had or my mommy ever had. She described everything around relational trust in her life.
On that note, Tim Shriver for president. Look at that.
How about we do a little sober cheers?
Sober cheers.
Let's cheers this one to continuing to learn, listen, be open, and act in the intent of serving others. Let's do it.
It was awesome. I'm gonna do it again. I'm getting certified. This is dope. How long did it take for me to jump by myself?
Okay.
How long did it take for me to jump by myself?
Welcome to Feather Phoenix, okay?
Woo!